I'm here with Chris Nilan, the subject of Alex Gibney's latest documentary film, The Last Gladiators. It's a portrait of an enforcer, a teammate, a son, a brother, and a recovering addict. Pretty stellar stuff for you to put your everything on the line like that. It took a lot of guts, though. Did you have a preconceived notion of how it would come out after yesterday's?
Not really. The only thing I guess I just knew I was working with pretty accomplished people. You know, Alex, having done so many documentaries, was nominated for an Oscar, won an Oscar. So to be involved with people like that, I knew they were good people, and they put it.
Would be an accurate portrait?
Yeah, I thought it'd be an accurate portrait of my life and what happened to me. And I just kind of trusted in the fact that they do a good job. They had a good track record in things they've done in the past. So, you know, it was easy for me in that respect. I met them. They gained some of my trust, obviously, and I felt comfortable to be able to do it with them.
And from what I understood from the film, is originally it was a portrait of several people, and you ended up becoming the focus of the film. It actually revolves around your life story, and the way they piece it together is that they bring a lot of fellow hockey players that were in the same role as you, and they kind of like insert that into one chronological timeline. I was wondering, at what point did you know that you would be the focus of this film?
Oh, very early.
Okay.
You know, I think they spoke to a lot of guys. You know, before they spoke to me, they spoke to probably about 60 guys, and they interviewed them, they filmed them, they did different things, and they were they realized that they wanted a central character, and I spoke with Larry Weitzman. He spoke to me at length about my situation, asked me some questions, and I think, you know, I impressed him with some of my answers and my character. I think maybe my humor somewhat, my emotional side, that he thought I would be a good subject, and you know, he wanted to go further with me, and when he asked me if I would, I said, yeah, you know, I don't have a problem with it. You know, I didn't have a problem with. I mean, at some time I had to let people know that what happened to me, and I was getting well. Hopefully, it will help someone who sees it. Maybe it'll deter someone who sees it.
Oh, for sure.
But, you know, I think he realized that with my story and being able to put it across the way I did and the way they could portray me, that it would do that. And they found out that they had somebody who they really thought would be good for that role, and role as far as my role in life and what happened to me. And, you know, it was pretty easy to do for me. You know, sometimes it was long filming and everything, but for the most part, I enjoyed it. It was fun.
I think your life story it follows the trajectory of many of movie or cinema's heroes. Is that sometimes they start off at the top, they hit bottom, and then that's the interesting part is where you know, getting up from the.
Yeah, well, I think the interesting part for some people is, you know, I think sometimes people, you know, like to see the strong man stumble and fall, you know, as macabre as that may be. You know, I think everybody, you look at Tiger Woods, what happened, and people, you know, all they see is a guy making a lot of money, it must be great, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden he stumbles. I think some people in their own devious, mean way probably say, good for him, he was cocky anyway, he made too much money, this or that. I think this sheds a little bit of light on, you know, obviously that, you know, just because someone plays a sport doesn't make them, you know, anything special. Doesn't mean you're better than anybody else. I was just good at what I did. I had an opportunity to do it, and I did it. Doesn't mean put me above anybody else. Doesn't put me any lower than anybody else. You know, we're all human beings, and you know, some people hold you on that pedestal. It's not something I asked for. It happened, and you know, I guess to see me fall, you know, in the way they portrayed the movie and what happened to me, that people are saddened by it. But there's also, I think, I don't think the movie ever. Yeah, I'm in recovery now and I'm getting well, but I don't think it ever gets to that real heartwarming part of the movie. Like it's sad and it's funny at times and it's raw. It's raw and.
I mean, this is life. This is life.
It's life. You know, people look at it as an athlete. Yeah. I guess I have a voice and I'm able to express my voice through that film.
You're carrying this weight of the world, pressure, not pressure, but we'll call it guilt from having hurting close friends and family, and I wanted to know how. I mean, I imagine that was the most difficult aspect of.
Yeah, it was. You know, anytime you hurt someone you love and care about, it's not a good feeling. It's not what I set out to do. It happened, you know. It's not like I wanted to be a drug addict. It's not like I was having fun doing this, you know. I got on pills because of my my injuries, and they were helping me, and they helped me deal with the everyday pain that I go through that the average person doesn't go through, and they helped me deal with that. And then it got to a point where you know, I needed more pills for the same effect, and I get taken more and more, and I was addicted. I was hopelessly addicted. I didn't understand it. I didn't know what had happened to me at the beginning. It's not easy to understand. Like I said, people think, you know, that it's a moral issue. You know, it's a disease, alcoholism and addiction. It's not like, you know, I set out to do this and I wanted this to happen to me. Because of my addiction and my sickness, I got there, and people think you're actually having fun. You know, oh, he's getting high and having fun. It's not like that at all. You know, you're sick half the time. The other half the time, you're looking to find the drugs to take the sickness away. You know, you get them from doctors originally, and then when the doctors run out, or you can't get them anymore, the way everybody's out against these painkillers, you know, it's caused so many problems in the world today, in the United States and in Canada, and so it's more difficult to get those from a doctor. So I had to go elsewhere. I had to get heroin to be well, and it was not a easy decision for me to make, but you know, I made it because I had to be well. Like I said, this time I laid on the couch for days, like sick as a dog, from, you know, detoxing from the drug, and I would do anything just to get some of it in me, just so I wouldn't hurt, I wouldn't have the pain that I had. It's a terrible place to be.
It was quite an interesting way that Alex went about showing back and forth, you know, how father-son rapport.
Yeah, like I always try to please my dad and make him proud of me, and when I finally did with the hockey and everything, and then this happened, and all the shame that came along with it, you know, he says he's ashamed of me, but you know, like I said, it's not a moral issue. It's not something I wanted to do. It was not like I was out there having fun, doing cartwheels, getting high. No. It wasn't that at all. And, you know, that shame that my father and disdain he had for me.
Yeah,
if I had cancer, he wouldn't feel that way. He'd be very sympathetic to me.
Of course not. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people in the world who don't understand addiction and alcoholism are the same way. They look at it like, that person did that to themselves. It's them who takes a drink. It's them who. But when you don't have the disease, you're not educated about it. It's not fair to the person who does have the disease. Like everybody, someone has cancer, like I said, or they have a terrible disease. We all feel sympathy. Yeah. We have sympathy for them. We feel bad for what they're going through and everything. But you know, when we have the disease of addiction, alcoholism, people are ashamed of you. You know, it's pretty strong stuff. You know, it's a disease, just like cancer.
I'm not sure to what length the producers of the film and Alex went to pursue the NHL besides the specialists that they do.
You'd have to ask Alex.
Okay.
And they pursued it. They wanted, the NHL wasn't really cooperative.
That's such a shame, though.
Yeah. You know, that's them. You know, honestly, I think they're ashamed of the fighting part. They don't want to talk about it. They think it's bad for them. It was such a big part of their league for so long. It still is to some extent. And they shy away from it. It's like, ooh, they don't want to talk about it, you know. They want to talk about how healthy the league is, how they've expanded to another team to a shit market. You know, let's build up this team down in Atlanta so everybody comes and watches them. And you know what? They made a huge mistake putting the team back there. So they don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about all their successes and all the good things they have because they're so fucking squeaky clean. And the fact of the matter is they're not so fucking squeaky clean. Now, I will tell you that the National Hockey League, the substance abuse people who I dealt with, and Dr. Lewis, Dr. Shaw, and Dan Cronin, was some of the nicest men I've ever met in my life and really helped me out in my life. But as far as the rest of them, I mean, they don't want to be attached to this. You know, they want it all swept under the rug. They
It's
don't
too
want
bad.
it, you know, they'll say, "Oh, we want to tackle this
Yeah, they say it in
concussion
theory.
issue."
They say it in theory.
They want to tackle the concussion issue, but guys are still getting concussions. The best player in the game is Mark Savard is retired, a great hockey player, and they wanted this league to become a wide open league. They wanted to take the red line out. They wanted to do all these things. They wanted to get fighting away. So they tinkered with the rules to the point where now they have their fast, wide open game. Guys have no protection like they once did. And I cannot believe the amount of concussions players are getting today. It's ridiculous. And people say, bigger, faster, stronger. That's bullshit.
I think it's turned off
Guys
a lot of
still
people.
got hit the same way as they did today as they did 20 years ago. They got hit the same way. They got hit just as hard. Maybe we didn't have as much lethal
padding,
equipment on.
yeah.
There was a red line. You had to come up together. You had to slow up a little bit. You couldn't go in and just run a guy through the boards. You could at times, but guys could hold you up. You could get in guys' way. But the league said that's all not good for the game. The hold and the clutch and the grab and this and that. All these great players bitched and moaned about it. We're getting hugged. We're getting pulled. We're getting tugged. We're getting hooked all the time. We can't score our goals. Well, now they take that out, and all the good players are getting concussions. And now they're bitching and moaning.
And they're not getting goals either.
They're bitching and moaning and whining about it. So, you know, you can't have it both ways. So they got that all out of the game, which they wanted, these great players. And now look what's happened. They're all getting dinged in the head. They're all getting hurt now. And I'm sure there's time when these guys get hit that they wish someone could have held them up, one of their teammates. And they wish maybe someone would have stuck up for them. But it's too late now. It's too late.
They turned the page on a very rich history, which is the 1980s. A great decade for hockey.
Yeah, it was. And again, you know, I guess it is a little barbaric because they allow fighting in hockey. I mean, it's what other sport does. No other sport really allows fighting, right? Football doesn't. You know, stuff they go through. You know, you would think they'd be allowed to fight, but it's always been in hockey. They allowed it, and does that mean it always should stay? No. And I'm not saying they should take it out either, but, you know, who's the authority on this? Who's going to step up to the plate? The commissioner of the league one day? And let's settle it once and for all. Either take it out or leave it in. But they toyed with it so much with the instigator rule and all this crap. If you get in a fight the last 2 minutes of the game, the coach gets fined and suspended. To me, that's all crap. They toyed with it too much. They wanted to play with the rules. They played with them, and now they're seeing the consequences. And who are they going to blame for this now? Not themselves. They won't take the blame for it. They won't say, "Well, we tinkered with the rules too much. We did the right thing for our league." Well, if you really dissect and look at it, they want to blame all this on the fighter. They want to blame these three guys' deaths on it was because they were fighting. It's got nothing to do with that. It's a life issue. It's a life issue.
What are you hoping will come out from this film? Not only personally for yourself, but for the film itself. What are you hoping?
I hope I get like a multi-million-dollar contract to do 5 movies in Hollywood.
I think you'd be I think the reason why Alex ended up going with you, and I'm sure Tony was great. I'm sure the other guys were great on camera, but I think that personality, that voice that you have, is something that
What I'd
could
like to get
definitely-
out of this, what I'd like to, honestly, is that if some people can see this and they can, if it can help one person,
Yeah.
just one person. I know we hear that's kind of cliche. It's true. If I can help one person, maybe if I can help 10, maybe I can help thousands. I don't know. If I can help someone realize the pitfalls and the dangers and what not just an athlete can get, people in life, this can happen to. It's not just because I'm an athlete. It can happen to anybody. The disease does not discriminate. And if at some point from this, I can get some opportunities to go out and speak to people about this on a more intimate level, an emotional level, where people can hear my voice and what happened to me and how I got out of this and how my life is today, then that'd be cool.
The human experience, sharing.
It would be cool, you know.
Really cool stuff.
I don't know what's going to happen with it, you know. We'll see.
Thank you so much for a really candid portrait and for just putting everything out there. I mean, it could have been anybody, but number 30 of the Habs, it was really it was a nice portrait.
Well, thanks so much. It was a lot of fun to do.
So
okay.
good luck with the film.
Thanks for your time.
And if you don't mind, could we see the?
Sure.
No, actually, maybe you can just show it to the camera like that. And that's Chris's Stanley Cup ring from the
1986 season.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.